shocking new video from New York City. This is in the lower Manhattan area, and you can see two people defacing a Tesla showroom with spray paint in downtown Manhattan, a bright red paint.
So over the last few weeks, there have been protests and attacks on Tesla dealerships over Elon Musk's support of America's 47th president and his efforts to dismantle corrupt government entities that fund programs which are not making the world a better place. And because of that, progressive outrage has reached a new level where a total ban on Tesla sales in New York is on the table.
New video tonight shows NYPD officers arresting protesters at a Tesla showroom in the West Village. Hundreds gathered today for a sit-in protest there over Elon Musk's role in cutting federal jobs. Police say 5 people were arrested and issued summonses.
Well, the FBI has created a task force to crack down on violent Tesla attacks, in particular, that the FBI is designating as domestic terrorism. But both violence and vandalism against Elon Musk's car manufacturer have been on the rise.
Every single day you wake up, it's some new horrible thing.
Every time I listen to the radio, I start yelling at it.
So now let's talk about Elon Musk.
In New Orleans, a usually festive Mardi Gras parade turning sour as the crowd spots some Tesla Cybertruck. Onlookers booing, jeering, and pelting the vehicles with beads usually tossed at revel. Just the latest sign of backlash to Elon Musk's central role in the Trump administration, now affecting his car company and those who buy his cars.
This is wild. A state senator wants to revoke Tesla's permits to sell EVs. But what nobody's talking about is this move, which is totally political, signals the end of 2 things right here in New York. First, it signals the end of any semblance of business friendliness here in this state. Just think you could have a thriving company embraced by millions one day, but the next it could be shut down by leaders of a political party who think you're a bad person. But that's not all. It also signals the end of New York's war on prosperity, which was going to mandate 100% EV sales by 2035. A goal Trump-hating progressives were all too happy to force down everyone's throat, telling us just a few years ago to go buy Teslas and save the planet. However, that goal may now be even more impossible to meet if the top manufacturer of EVs, an American automaker, is banned from doing business here. Something the people attacking Tesla dealerships probably haven't thought too much about. Which brings us to the real reason this Tesla ban is even on the table. The people supporting it and these protesters, they cannot think for themselves. And they're so worked up by the mainstream news that they truly believe an iron curtain of fascism has descended upon America, where good, well-meaning people who aren't criminals are being swept off the streets and deported. And while America as a whole seems to be turning back into a law and order society, these protesters are peacefully making their voices heard. Like this.
New video tonight shows NYPD officers arresting protesters at a Tesla showroom in the West Village. Hundreds gathered today for a sit-in protest there over Elon Musk's role in cutting federal jobs.
I'm sorry, did the news just call that a sit-in? The only people sitting were the people who were in handcuffs and couldn't move on their own anymore. But even though the goal of your television is to make it seem that on the surface, these are average people protesting for the first time in their entire lives with legitimate grievances, engaging in a courageous display of peaceful civil disobedience. But as you're about to see, the real reasons these people want Tesla gone and banished have absolutely nothing to do with the company itself or reality.
By the Trump White House.
Every single day you wake up, it's some new horrible thing.
Every time I listen to the radio, I start yelling at it. The libraries, the Smithsonian, education, all of the USAID, the situation for immigrant rights.
So now let's talk about Elon Musk. Many here also.
Okay, is there anything these protesters are happy about? No, they're not. In fact, when these people are out there vandalizing Tesla dealerships, it's because they're mad about everything. And these people are literally just looking for something to break. And a physical Tesla dealership owned by public enemy 1 or 2 in their book, it's the most convenient option, which is definitely not the most peaceful way to go about this, but because it costs someone money who they hate, even if it's wrong, the protesters think this is okay. They think they're standing up for righteousness by spray painting these places. All of this pent-up anger that's been cooped up in their minds from just consuming too much news that tells them that America's being destroyed before their eyes, it has to go somewhere, and these physical dealerships are where it's going.
I think Elon Musk has no right to be in the position he's in.
Doge is an unelected illegality, and it's got to go.
People at this rally say they're not looking for any confrontation on the streets or to promote any hostilities, but rather to focus on conveying a message of disapproval in regards to the current administration.
I love how after this nationwide vandalism spree takes place, while that's happening, the news makes sure to tell us that these protesters are peaceful. If they have to tell us that, I don't know if it's true. And even if one protest is peaceful, that doesn't mean the messages at it do not ferment in the minds of the hearers and then turn into something else later. However, the most ironic thing about this is since Elon and Trump are the targets of this movement to get rid of Tesla, the lawmakers, the kingmakers who want to pass this thing, they're saying that allowing Tesla to sell cars hurts small business franchises. What small business franchise is out there selling EVs competing with Tesla? I don't really understand that, but I guess it takes someone who locals think is teaming up with a criminal to get New York to become pro-small business. Look, suddenly they're pro-small business because to these protesters and agitators, the enemy of their enemy is their friend.
Front and center at today's march, the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who arrived illegally from El Salvador in 2011 and was arrested in 2019. The White House posting on its X account today that, among other things, if he tattoos like MS-13, then he's probably MS-13.
Then have a trial. Dual process is the way you get that done.
So here's where things get interesting. The same people that are mad about Tesla and Trump and Elon, they're also mad that an actual gang member was sent to a prison designed for gang members after he had been ordered out of the country and had already been deemed very dangerous and was here illegally. And at this protest, you not only see a lot of the same pro-open borders and anti-Trump signs you saw at the other protests, but it's quite possible many of the same protesters are in attendance. But we've come to a point where people are so worked up and so misled that they believe destroying the property of a company that makes electric cars, which in their mind are good for the planet, is actually a good thing. And these same people also believe that gang members shouldn't be deported from our country, that they should be allowed to stay. Because allowing this person to stay, despite all of the evidence that they are a complete criminal, would do what? It would help them get back at the object of their rage, which is the Trump administration.
Got a bunch of people in here, don't you?
It's 1 for 6. Yes. Go back to work.
Gotcha. Where are you working at?
Where?
Where?
San Luis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from Maryland.
Fox News was first to obtain the Tennessee Highway Patrol body cam footage through a public records request, showing officers pull over Abrego Garcia for speeding, where they discovered 8 people in the vehicle, raising troopers' suspicions.
How many rows have you got in here? 4?
Where?
4 seats? 4 rows of seats?
Yes, 3.
I've never seen one with that many seats in it.
So this is the criminal gang member who's an MS-13 member who was caught by Tennessee Highway Patrol back in 2022 and was then released under the direction of the FBI. That's why this gentleman who was caught by troopers right here possibly smuggling people, they certainly suspected it, was let go and does not have the quote-unquote criminal record that many people think is what qualifies someone for being deported. But even though this guy was a known gang member and was carrying out actions that have been recorded on police body cameras thousands of times in this country, activists would rather have him sprung out of prison than have Tesla dealerships saving the planet in New York.
The vehicle Abrego Garcia was driving, he said belonged to his boss. And DHS later saying the car belonged to a human smuggler.
Who is it? Whose car is it?
This is my boss.
The boss.
Yeah, it was his boss. The smugglers were his boss.
And according to a source who spoke with Fox News Digital, when authorities ran his name into a database called the National Crime Information Center, a warning popped up.
So what does this mean? This guy is a known gang member. He was committing illegal activity when he was stopped. Yet people are out in New York carrying signs that say Trump's a big meanie and that this guy needs to be freed. What does that tell you? It tells you one thing. People's politics have become so twisted that one moment they're buying a product which they think is making the world a better place, and the next moment they are destroying the business of the company that sells those products. And to be honest with you, had Elon Musk come out against Trump, his sales might actually be up. Think about that for a second. If he were an anti-Trump CEO, his company would probably be doing just fine. Better yet, why not make this guy the CEO of Tesla? Boy, then sales would go through the roof, wouldn't they? He could say whatever he wants about Trump and it's correct. But as silly and fictitious as that idea sounds, when you see how brainwashed these protesters are, and when you listen to the words they're actually saying, it honestly might just work.
Onlookers booing, jeering, and pelting the vehicles with beads usually tossed at revelers. Just the latest sign of backlash to Elon Musk's central role in the Trump administration, now affecting his car company and those who buy his cars. Recent protests erupting outside Tesla dealerships in Manhattan, Boston, and Tucson, Arizona.
These people really think the Iron Curtain has descended once again upon America. Look at this. They think that the country's been taken over. They think this is a coup, a civil war. And these protesters have been brainwashed into believing that the president and anyone working with him just want to throw good, well-meaning people in jail for no reason, along with anybody who disagrees with them politically. Something literally nobody's afraid of except these very same people who are out there attacking Tesla dealerships and live in a world where fear governs every single one of their actions.
This is a protest against Trump and Musk, mainly because they're trying to take from the poor to pass a tax relief, they call it, for the wealthy.
And even an alleged arson attack targeting Tesla charging stations under investigation in Massachusetts. At the same time, posts on social media from people who say they're trying to sell their Tesla because they don't want to be associated with Musk.
What's fascinating about this is these individuals have zero loyalty. One day they're out there trying to get everybody to drive an electric car, and now they don't like electric cars anymore, or at least these. Maybe they're going out and getting other EVs, but just as they went and bought these Teslas to try and save the planet, didn't anyone tell them how bad it is for the environment to junk them and abandon them? Each one of these things is a truckload of dangerous e-waste that could combust at any moment, not to mention the ingredients in the lithium-ion batteries are obtained through a process that is not exactly humane, and they're getting rid of perfectly good cars. Wasting money requiring the purchase of new cars, all of this. And it's what, activism? That's what they're saying? They're saying, oh, I'm doing this because I don't like Elon Musk. They're going to destroy the earth.
Of these two suspected vandals now wanted for carving onto the door of a Tesla Cybertruck in Brooklyn. It happened on Monroe Street early yesterday morning. The NYPD's Hate Crimes Task Force is now fully involved and investigating. Across the country, law enforcement are seeing a growing number of attacks on Teslas, which are believed to be backlash.
So these people destroying property for no reason, they're the first ones that are going to come out and tell us that we're bad people for supporting the deportation of criminals from our country, or supporting the cutting of funding for programs that help nobody, for supporting the drawing down of waste that our government just goes about every single day. And the crazy thing is these folks are literally mad about something they're not even educated on. They think they're informed because they spend all of their time watching one or two mainstream news sources that all preach the same thing and have them literally convinced that our country is Germany in 1930. And now we're at a point in our country where attacking a Tesla on the side side of the street is your new way to show solidarity with random illegal immigrants you will never meet and have nothing in common with, peacefully resisting what you see as an oppressive force in America. But does Tesla really deserve this? After all, these protesters, they're mad that somebody with no prior criminal history, who was a gang member and a human smuggler and was in the country illegally, was deported. But Tesla, do they have any prior criminal history? Do they really deserve the outrage and the ire and the hypocrisy of these protesters? What do you think about that? Should New York ban Tesla? Is that going to kill their ability to mandate electric vehicles statewide if they ban the largest producer, the best maker of these things from a state where that's all you can buy? Is that going to sink the EV mandate here? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.